Hello and welcome back to the workout of the week. Tommy Matthews here, and we've got Andy Phillips as well. We're going to be doing a series of boxing workouts now. This is the first of 3. Today we're going to be focusing on improving your boxing technique and adding power to your punches. We're going to be looking at some basic technique drills to get your stance correct and to help you utilize the correct body mechanics to provide or to produce that power through those punches. Once we've done that and once we've developed that technique or worked on that technique, we're going to give you some basic bag drills to help improve power in those punches. Following on from that, you can also follow on to the second workout in the series and the third workout, which we'll come to obviously shortly. So to start off with, I'm going to work with Andy here just on some basic technique drills. The first thing we really need to do when boxing is to set up our stance correctly. Some simple things you can do. I want you to imagine that you've got a cross in the floor, and those lines in the floor are going to give you 4 boxes. Okay? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we're going to do is to get Andy to think about always standing or always setting up his stance in 1 and 4. So if Andy's always going to be in 1 and 4, if you can just set up that for me for a second, Andy. There's basically always going to be a line through here, and there's always going to be a line through there as well. And that way he's always in that box or in that cross. The next thing he's going to do once he's got that is he's just going to turn his front foot, so for him at the moment it's his left foot, he's going to turn that in about 15 degrees. Then he's going to turn his back foot out about 45 degrees. Once he's done that, this is a really strong position to be in when we're throwing punches. It's also a strong position to allow us to move if we're going to if we're going to turn from the front foot or the back foot, move forwards or move backwards. From here, it allows him to apply power through his hips when he's punching, and it also allows him to maintain stability. So that's the first thing, maintaining the stance. Once you've thrown a punch, it's also really important to make sure you come back to this position and not to lose that position. If Andy was to end up a little bit like this, so a little bit flat, Andy, like this, then he's never going to be able to apply any power through his punches, and he's also going to be very unstable as well. If he ends up a bit straight on like this, okay, if he ends up a bit like this, again, he's going to be very unstable from side to side and also going to struggle to get his hips through. Okay, so set up your stance first of all. The next thing we're going to look at, we'll just throw a few punches, a few jabs and a few crosses in there just so you can start to look at how the feet are working. So we'll just go into a few jabs for us. And a couple of crosses there as well. Okay, so just got a bit of a basic idea there of what's going on across the body. Some foot mechanics and some body mechanics. The power from punches comes from the lower body, and it travels through the body. So the most important thing is that we have good contact with the ground. And from that position then, we're going to be turning from our foot through our hip and sending the power through that hip into the punch. So whether it's a jab or a cross, we're always pushing our foot into the floor and turning through that foot. It's probably more prominent on the backhand when you're throwing a cross. So if we look at the right hand here, if you look at Andy's body without an arm involved, so just throwing a shoulder punch essentially. So he's going to imagine he's throwing his punch with his shoulder. He's got no arm essentially. So off you go, Andy. Let's just have a look at that body. So you'll see how the foot is initiating the movement with the hip, and the hip whips through, and as the hip whips through, the shoulder follows. And that's essentially what's going to happen when he starts throwing a jab. Let's go. Okay, so to start off with, as Andy's doing at the moment, he's not applying a lot of power, he's learning the techniques, he's learning the body mechanics. It's more important to learn the mechanics first, then you can start to apply speed and power. So once you've worked on those body mechanics, using the feet, using the hips, we'll just look at a couple of hooks as well, because it's even more prominent in the hooks, and you can see how the whole body and the hip turn into it. So first of all, without any arms, you're just going to do some lead hooks and some rear hooks. So let's have a look at the foot mechanics and the hips. Okay, so you'll see how the foot is turning through the floor, pivoting on that front foot, and he's whipping his hip through and his shoulders following. And let's have a look at the back as well. Okay, same idea. Good. Okay, from this position then into a hook, just have a look at the body now. Off we go. Look at that foot turning. Okay, lovely. On the right. Okay, beautiful. So there's a few little key pointers. Final thing just about helping you to apply power to those punches is your breathing. It's really important that you're breathing correctly and you're using correct breathing patterns when punching. When you throw a punch, it's very important to make sure that you're almost breathing out. Okay, you probably want to try and breathe out, if you can, get used to it, breathing out through your nose rather than leaving your mouth open. If you can focus on that, or just keeping your mouth shut and breathing through your teeth. Whatever works for you to start off with. From this position then, when you're throwing a punch, you want to be breathing out. When you're pulling the punch back in, you want to be breathing in to get that oxygen back in again. Otherwise, you're going to get fatigued pretty quickly. So we'll just look at the jab hand first, and Andy's just going to pronounce his breathing. So you're probably going to hear the breathing now. Okay, so breathing out on the way out, that allows you to release the force, it allows you to release the power. If you keep breathing in like this, you'll be too tight, okay, and you won't be able to move. So it's always important to use breathing. So there's three things there: setup position, using the body and the foot mechanics, and then the breathing. After that then, once we've worked on those, we're then going to come and do some bag drills. We're going to do 6 punches. We're going to work on jabs, crosses, we're going to look at the lead hook, the rear hook, and then we're going to look at some rips. Rips work very well on an uppercut bag because you can actually get up and underneath the body. So a rip essentially is coming into the side of the body. So Andy's going to set himself up. He's going to be facing the target here. First punches, he's going to focus on 10 jabs. Okay, with the bag, it's all about power now. We're applying power using the correct foot mechanics. It's in a controlled environment. He's got a big target to focus on. So really what we're looking at here is good body mechanics, good power through the body, and breathing correctly. Off we go, Andy. 10 punches with the jab. Good. Turn through that front hip. Okay, once we've done 10 on the front, we're going to go into the backhand. So we're going to go crosses, 10 crosses. Good. Lots of power. Turn through that back foot. Don't forget your breathing. Good. Power through the hip. Excellent. Then we're going to come into lead hooks. For a lead hook, we're going to have to step into the bag. We're going to be wrapping our wrist around the bag, so we're going to be coming to the side of the bag. Lead hooks first of all. Let's work on that foot. Off we go. Good, nice. Look at that, how that body's turning. Really nice how the foot's turning, how the hip's coming into it, and the hand is traveling through. Lovely. Breathing's important there as well. Okay, and then into the backhand. Off we go. Same thing through the backhand. Turn that back foot. At the end of the punch, you'll almost notice that the line of the foot and the hip is the same line as the punch. Okay, excellent. The final one, the rip. With the rip, you now need to step into the punch. So you have to step to the side of the bag to clear the bag to open up for your rip. Let's have a look at this, Andy. So a lead rip for us, please. Step, load, rip. You'll see the pattern. There's a step, there's a loading phase, and then a rip. What we don't want it to be is a step and a rip. Otherwise, you get no drive from your leg. So you'll notice that he's got a step, and then he loads through his leg, and he drives up through his hip. Really important to get that driving through the hip. Off we go. Step, load, rip. Really get up and under that bag. Okay, once we've performed our 10 there, nice one. Same on the backhand. It'll be easier for you guys to see this, so you'll see the foot mechanics. Step to the side, up and through the bag. Step to the side, up and through the bag. And look how the hip initiates that drive, that power. Okay, that power is all coming from the hip, not the arm. Good. Each one of these, every time you finish your rip, you step back to the start, that setup stance. Then you perform the next one. Okay, so very simple, quite a short little brief explanation there of how to first of all get your mechanics right, get your punching technique or improve your punching technique. There's a lot more technical aspects to punching than just that, but those are some simple steps which you can follow, and then put that into the 10 of each punch, and that'll help you improve your power as well as improving your technique. So make sure you join us for the next clip, next workout, which is the second in the series of boxing drills. That's going to give you some more ideas about how to improve power for your punches. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next one.